Hey, everybody, welcome to the Evercade podcast, where I'm your host, Ed. I've got Pete, Rich, and Crow with his Boglin.
Oh, Crow, you're so
It's good times, man.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. So we do have some things to talk about. Just a forewarning. Today I do have a heart out for everyone.
Forewarning.
Forewarning!
Forewarning. We have some things to talk about. Be careful, though.
Forewarning! Forewarning! Do have a heart out at 11. Sometimes personal life gets in the way. But I think it's going to be good. So we may or may not get to talk about games, but we actually do have real.
Wait,
real
we're a
news.
gaming podcast. We might not talk about games.
No. But yeah, let's say hi. Let's say hi to the chat here, and then we can kind of dive into some of this stuff. Let's see. Who do we have? We have Pickett and Duck. Pickett and Duck. Yeah.
Peking duck.
Peking Duck.
Pick and duck. Pick and duck.
I had to be
and duck.
careful reading that because I was like, wait a second.
That sounds sus.
Right. Yeah. Agree.
Well, but welcome.
My new word of the day.
it-
I'm getting younger. I'm calling it sus.
Man, my shirt's really wrinkly. Anyways, but because of the material. Anyways, distracting myself as usual. We've got channel member Lord JRM in the house.
What's up?
You got Ian Hobbies.
What's going on, Ian?
We got Jason Shoes, channel member in the house.
What's up?
And the Intellivision Gamer.
The Intellivision Gamer.
The Intellivision Gamer. Like, they're the only one. All right. We got Archive Gig.
What's going on?
We have Taz?
VW Taz.
W Taz. Newbie waiting
Yeah,
for my
VW
first picture.
Taz.
Right.
Volkswagen Taz.
I hope you have a blast with it when it arrives.
Yeah. That's awesome. And if you haven't already, subscribe to all of our channels because we talk a lot about Evercade stuff. It's in the
Some of
comments.
us do.
Some of us do.
Some of us do. I heart radio.
What's going on?
I think you're the one that does it the most, Ed. So
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Probably.
the one with the channel called Evercade Effect.
Evercade.
Right. Might have something to do with that. So how's everybody been this last week?
I don't know.
That's been
Work's
busy.
kicking my ass.
It's been
Yeah,
pretty,
there's
pretty
that
busy.
too. Yeah.
Work is just kicking my ass so
It's been
badly.
pretty busy.
But
I hear you.
But yeah, no, I've been Pal World. Been playing a lot of Pal World. Duke Nukem is
have
the
you?
only game. Duke Nukem 1 and 2 is the only game I really want to play on Evercade. Is that bad of me? Like I just whenever I turn Evercade
play
on,
whatever you want to play. There's a reason why I sit there and I'm like, I feel like playing Peglin again, and it's a stupid game. It's like there's no point for me to play it again. I played
between Pal World and Duke 1 and 2, I just keep playing those over or like the Duke Nukem over and over.
And every time somebody says Pal World, I'm like, well, that must be a European game because I'm
Maybe I'm
waiting
just
for
lazy.
NTSC
Yeah,
World.
it's in
There's in TSC World. I know.
Hey guys, maybe I'm just lazy. I don't want to change the cart.
You could, yeah, I
It's in
mean,
here.
that's
I just wanna- I don't
absolutely
wanna
a
get
reason.
You know what? I've done that. Sometimes I'm like, well, there's a collection in here, and then I kind of dive into it and I find a few games that I like. But yeah, the Dukes are awesome. When I played the Dukes and the Asta Bros, I just wanted to play nothing else but those games.
I need to find something every time somebody says the Dukes. I need to pull something from Trading
Dukes.
Places.
You didn't. You are not allowed because we established last week you haven't even seen the movie.
Well, what if I saw it first?
Yes, please watch
see?
the movie first.
It's like
Okay.
it's like me and
I know
what's-
exactly. I know most some of
dude.
it. I see.
Dude, thank you so much for the $9.99. Wow.
Yeah, that's
That's
like
rad.
$3 a piece.
That's rad, man.
Dude, that's awesome. Thank you.
Here's my promise to you. I'm gonna
Started.
watch by this time next week. I will have seen Trading Places.
Yes, you should.
Cool.
It's a classic, man.
I know it's a
And
classic.
How I
Exactly.
know that is I told him Jamie Lee Curtis was in it, and he had no idea what I was talking about.
Yeah, but I know a lot of. I've seen parts and bits and pieces of the movie,
That's
So,
not
I
watching
know-
the movie, Crow.
and I know it's something to do with Orange Futures.
Oh, good
Hey,
Lord.
in television gamer, that deserves a Randy Savage.
Oh yeah!
Nothing
yeah.
else deserves a Randy.
But so yeah, what I was gonna say, I'm just gonna call you Taz. He said I'm a bit of a physical media collector, and Evercade is right. Yeah, dude, that definitely. That's like 100%. That's definitely it. Um, so yeah, so what I wanted to talk about, and we have to go to the polls first because so like my poll, oh my god, my polls, God, someone's gonna slip that. The polls were that I put together were directly inspired by the new Evercade features. And so first I need to get this out of the way because there's been like a ton of comments on my channel. Like people, I think they put this up like they think that I put this up like negatively because there's some comments like, "Oh my God, is Blaze still having issues? Oh my God, what's broken?" No, the reason that I did this is because all of our devices, and I put like, and let me just go over to the poll because I said specifically whenever like your gaming devices, right? What do you do? Because when a new firmware update is released for one of your gaming devices, what do you do? And like and because like PS4 for me, Steam, like every single time, pretty much every modern day gaming device, has updates. And so this was kind of geared more, and whenever you do updates, yes, there's always a little bit of a risk, but I wasn't kind of meaning that. I was just curious, like, do people just do updates? Not only that, but there's things like with the legend game, like the legend gamer, like they block people from being able to use like CoinOpsX. So yeah, there's reasons to wait and not wait to do updates. So I wasn't meaning it negative. I wasn't meaning like, oh, stuff is broken. It's pretty positive. I don't like myself. I'm gonna cover you up there, Crow. I mean, turned to the. Oh, that was dude. That was priceless. Anyways,
now we can't see Pete playing whatever game.
I'll put me in the box.
Okay, that's fine.
I think it's a Dungeons and Dragons something or other.
No, he's playing.
It's Silk Road. Silk Road.
Oh, you know why I haven't recognized it? Because I haven't gotten to that one yet.
Yeah, we know.
You will eventually. So here we have 87 votes, and so for me, like especially like as a content creator, like this comes to mind because when you sit down, you have to decide, hey, do I want to spend my gaming session doing the updates, or do I want to play the games? But as a content creator, I'm like, hey, I want to be able to give my opinions and tell you all. So that's really what kind of came to mind for all the things. Not only that, actually, too, like I think also what inspired this too. Rich, you got your Polymega, and you've been holding off on the updates because you didn't want to lose access to the Pico games until they fix that. So there's various reasons why you may want to go to the latest and greatest and not like, and I'll talk about with this one why we'll get to the release notes, kind of why it's special and why. And I called this episode "Cart Patching Hell" because, maybe not in the way that you think, not because it's it was a little bit of like a workout, but we'll get to that. So.
But that's something you don't have to do. Why don't you just change all the cartridges in and out and just wait until?
So technically you don't, but I ran into an issue with Computer Collection 1, and so I'll say that you need to unless they change the way that they do their update chart. But that's open for
you don't need to because it'd be expected. Because what if you don't like? What if you you're not like us and you don't buy every cartridge as they come out, and then you go on eBay and you're like, hey, here's a collection that's like 2 years old and I don't have it. So you're going to be in that situation one way or another at some time.
See, that's another problem, having unpatched carts out there in the wild from the secondary market. But we'll talk about that. But let me just get through the results. So yeah, 40 the high people. So roll the dice and blindly clicked up. That was kind of funny because. I mean, and I get that if you don't work like in the IT industry, that makes sense. For me, I always read the release notes no matter what, because I'm curious. What do they what do they go what are they patching? I want to know.
What the Evercade? I'll read them just because they're usually not that long and they're pretty easy to read.
Yeah,
and I'm looking, and usually it's like most of the stuff that they do. I'm not really. It's like, oh, okay, that's interesting, but I'm not gonna check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for me, and then this one, and this is what may have kind of caused the hubbub. Because it's do you guys wait and see if anyone else reports issues? That doesn't mean there's issues, but that's like I kind of do a combination of these two. I don't necessarily want to be like the first person, but you can't test every. You want to just curious to see if anybody runs any issues, in any updates, and maybe I'll hold off. And this, I want to say a while back there was something with the Steam Deck and update. No, I know. Yeah, they updated it, like broke EMU Deck, but then like they fixed it really quick. By the time I updated, it was already resolved. So, for me, I kind of do like a combination of these two things. There have been Evercade updates where it's just a game of the month, and if I didn't want to play that game of the month, I may have just held off because I'm like, oh, I'd rather play other stuff. So that, that's all. And then this, I had to put this. It's kind of funny because here's the one thing. And I feel strong. Anybody who's like in 2024, anybody who thinks you have a device come out that never requires like any updates, unless it's like a clone console, is like delusional, right? Like we live in an era where everything is firmware updates. So.
My Atari 2600 doesn't need updates.
The 2600 plus?
No, my regular one.
Well, yeah, that's not that's an old device. That's what I was like saying.
You said every device.
I said every like modern, like okay, like modern, of course, Crow, modern device. I said that's like a clone console, FPGA or something. But yeah, I mean and sometimes you get asked this question like, do you need to do updates? It's like, well, I recommend because you get more out of it. So some comments like from a few people here, because it's because I'm an Evercade effect. Yeah, I know like PK wasn't the only one. Like I get that, but I wasn't just applying. But some people were kind of saying, I don't know, like someone like lost confidence in Blaze, whatever. I'm scared to update anything. Well, so here's kind of the thing. So there is kind of the realistic thing is like, I mean, sure, doing any updates on anything, could you break cards? Yes. And I understand where that maybe a little bit of like scarcity with that. So there's the overall, maybe we'll go to the overall features, but I'm proud of Blaze this time, are happy that as soon as they did this blog post, the patch notes were there because the patch notes go a little bit deeper into it. So that made me really happy. And we'll talk about some of the things that they added. The only thing that I wish they made a little more clear that is which updates are on the card. It basically, we'll see when we go over to the patch notes, if it says like added like turbo fire, or added like high scores, like added like the ability to save high scores, like that's patching your card. But so right. That's, I kind of wish that maybe turbo fire beta. So initially, Crow, I thought like, why would I need this? Right, 100%. But I did a live stream the other night, and it was Jen Joke suggested, is like, hey, with the Topolin collections, it's a godsend, and it really was.
Well, you know what? I don't need that because I have a controller with auto fire, so I didn't need it.
Of course, for the DS.
That's why I didn't need it, because I already played these games with auto fire.
But on the EXP though, it's kind of nice to have. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and also not everyone has access or inclination to go and buy third-party controllers, right? So having this feature built in for the global Evercade user that's using only Blaze provided product, it's a pretty decent thing.
Yeah, I'm just saying, for me personally,
for
I didn't
you,
really
yes,
care.
yes,
yeah, of course.
We know you're special, Crow. But yeah, no, that's why I agree with you, Rich. Like for me, like this was all like I tried to like this, especially for the shooters, because it has auto fire, but like the auto fire before wasn't turbo, and so you know, so.
Right.
Somebody was like saying, because when I was complaining about the lack of auto fire, unless you had a joystick like this, I was complaining. Somebody was like, well, yeah, they should have included auto fire to begin with, because according to them, I don't know how true this is. It's probably not that true. According to them, they expected the arcade operator, the person who put this in the arcade machine, they expected that machine to have this auto fire function built into it. That's why they didn't put it in the game. And I was like, well, no, if they wanted auto fire, they would have included it in the game.
Right.
They wouldn't have just expected the arcade operator to have it.
Hold that thought, Ian Hobbies. We'll kind of come back. We'll kind of come back to that. Yeah. So that's really great. And then. So this, I'll tell you why, like this high scores thing is fantastic, because like an Atari 50 for all the arcade games, it's automatic. If you like play MAME on anything, it's automatic. So this made me really happy. And then
let me ask a question here. Can you reset that if you want? Is there an option to reset high scores?
I'm not sure, actually.
Yeah. That's a good question.
Because what if you like you're playing through and you just want to see it to end, and you're using save states a lot, and then you get this really ridiculous high score, but then you don't really want it to be on there?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, the other way around it would be if you had an old save state prior to the patch, then you could use that, because any save state that was prior to the patch isn't incompatible with the high score feature. So
if the save state before you play.
yeah.
I think, because I'm like, yeah, you want to keep your, I don't keep them, but yeah, I get your point.
And just in general, what if you get the cart from somebody else and you don't want their high scores on there?
Oh, that's true.
Okay, that's
True.
a valid, yeah. No, that actually, yeah, that's a valid point, because when I got like the Activision collection for my GBA, I didn't like, they completed like all like the patches and stuff, and I wanted to reset the save data. So fair point, yeah. Like if you get it on the secondary market, now, and we'll talk about so this is definitely like, you have to patch all these carts, and kind of talk about that. So I will say, like, I didn't have any like nothing bricked at all. I successfully updated them. Now, one thing on because like Data East, I was testing out what's that? I hate the word Pac-Man clone, but that one game where you're like the cop.
Lock and Chase?
Lock and Chase. Okay, yes, thank you.
That's a Mousetrap clone.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the only issue that I had initially, and I think this was because I had a save state, when I played Lock and Chase just for the very first time, I only had one life. And after, when I put in my high score, it was briefly like garbled at the top, and then after that, everything was, and that was the only, and then everything, like, it still worked, but then that went away. That did go away. Now, the only thing, so here's some issues that I ran into.
You were using an old save state when you did that?
No, I think, I'm sorry, I should clarify. I think the game uses your, I think it might use your quick, I think it got confused for my quick save. But I didn't actually load it. I just did start new game.
Hey, here's an idea. Like, okay, so you pitch these cartridges, you give the games high scores and auto fire, and then you put the cartridge in a super pocket. So now the game on super pocket has high scores and auto fire.
Well, that's interesting.
I'm not sure about the auto fire. I'll say yes to the high scores, because I think that's the actual like patch of the cart. And when we look at the patch notes, they kind of make that clear. So here,
you can try that.
So yeah, one thing that I found out too is that in slot 1, you can go under system, you can choose to force a firmware update. But here's one issue that I ran into. When I put in Galco Collection when it started, and the only thing it updated was glass, and it was taking a while. So as I was updating one card at a time on my VS, I also had my EXP out. And I was able to update 3 or 4 cards on my EXP, and it was still on the screen patching. Please wait. It says do not turn off your Evercade. Remove the card. Kind of scary, right? And the issue that I had with the EXP is sometimes after patching it, then it wouldn't read a game until I would restart it. And I think I remember like Jen Joke was saying when I was on that live stream that you want to restart these devices each time. So finally, I went ahead, I powered on my VS, and everything worked. But that was just a little bit. That was just a little bit scary, so I could see why some people are a little bit apprehensive about wanting to, maybe go ahead and do that. This they did fix, like having like SRAM really work and showing the saves. Now, the one mistake that I should have done is on my good boy, because so for a warning, they say that your save states may not work, previous save states. What I forgot to do on Good Boy Galaxy is I forgot to do an SRAM save, because when I loaded my saves after the patch update, like they play all garbled, like it, like the game is kind of locked and it plays all garbage. Like I can't use those previous save states, but I can reload my built-in state. So I'm glad that it says like save that they kind of like fix that. And if we go to the patch, because the patch notes are basically the same, which is nice. So if we go here, new cart checks, automatic backup restore for errors. So yeah, this should give people confidence. And then like chain reaction. Thank God they fixed that. That made me so happy, because save states I could actually go through and beat it.
I thought that had already been fixed for some reason.
I don't think officially in the high scores. Now I will say full void. This did keep my save, because I do want to make a video where I talk about the ending. So some of these like the Duke, like this was like I think if it says specifically for games and it says a bunch of stuff, like that's patching the carts. I wish they made it more clear, but I believe the high scores, that patches the cart so you can put it in anything. I should test the super pocket. But I did run into one issue. So here's why I say, here's going to be my recommendation based upon my experience and, and kind of based upon Pete's experience with having older firmware. So let's take a step back. I think if we remember a few episodes back, like I think Pete, you were 4 or 5 firmware versions behind on your VS, did the updates, and it failed. Like, you couldn't just.
I think I was only 2 behind, but that's a problem with it, right?
Yes.
Like, yeah, it locks their system up. And you got to do a complete wipe, and it's like you need to get a software file from support to fix it.
So guess what? I found the same problem. Actually, the same problem with these cards. Actually, so it wasn't Home Computer Heroes. Actually, it was the first 64. It was the first C64 collection card. I guess a while back they had released an update. They had released an update for it because when I put it in, it said there was a new update available, and I would press A, and then it would give me an error code 7, and my EXP wouldn't even like see it, but in my VS, it did that. And I tried both slots, tried the Force update. One time I did an error code 11, and so I thought, okay, this will do the same thing in the Super Pocket. And so the Super Pocket is great because it's like at a controlled firmware level. I put it in there. It did the update because I remembered it updated one of my Atari cards. It updated it there. Then I took it out. Then I put that back into the VS. It prompted me for the update again. And then it worked because the game I could still play everything, but having that annoying nag screen. So kind of like, when I say Ian Hobbies, when you're saying you're 2 behind, my kind of recommendation is that you need to, I guess, keep up to date in all your carts and your firmware, because if you get too far behind, then that's a problem. Let's say I didn't have a Super Pocket,
but
right?
they really can't. You can't be expected everybody to do that, because I'm certainly not going to take an hour or 2 out of my day to pull out every single cartridge, insert it into them. I'm not going to do that,
dude. But yeah, it's a problem, because if I didn't have a Super Pocket, I would have had to email support. I kind of would have been in Pete's situation. They would have had to like give me an older firmware. I would have had to roll it back. Other than that, I think I counted there were like 15 different carts that needed patching. And so that's kind of the downside is it is a little ridiculous having to take you're exactly right, Crow, having to take the time and patch all these carts. And then there's another problem that, let's say you're far in a game of a save state, then maybe you haven't beaten the game. You don't want to lose that save state. So that's kind of the thing. And then getting carts in the secondary market. What if things aren't patched? What if people don't have them up to date? Yeah, it was because of the turbo fire. So so that is kind of an issue. It's not. I don't think you need to be worried about having your carts getting bricked getting updated. Although, like I said, that one screen was kind of scary. I think it's just more of the pain in the ass of going through and putting in all the carts like a madman.
I'm just going to update mine as I want to play the game, so I might not have all of mine updated till
that should be
2025, for example, 2026.
Yeah, that should be
about
the way
that.
it is. It's like, just wait until you want to play the game again, put it in, and then.
And I guarantee those carts will probably need another update by the time I'm ready to play it. So
yes. So here's the question, and then I'd pass it to Blaze. But here's what held me back from doing that. Like I experienced with the Computer Collection 1, that may just be a one-off. But let's say you run into an issue now where they come out with another update, and it can't be patched because it's dependent on that previous patch. So then you have to downgrade the firmware, patch all that. I didn't want to run into
that's a Blaze problem. They shouldn't be setting things up to work that way.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that 100%. That's a Blaze problem. My cock hurts. And then we have Immortal Sun. I plugged in my XP last night. Oh no, and it took a nosedive. Oh no. Oh, dude, if that's not all right, okay, contact support. No word to lie, but I have 12 duplicate. Yeah. So, I guess I wouldn't be lying if I didn't say there is a little bit of I want to say FOMO, but like, am I missing out on these features? But here's the thing. When I buy an Evercade cart and I go through and I test it like any device and it works, I don't want to have to worry about it again. I don't want to have to worry about compatibility issues. I don't want to if I don't play something like Computer Collection 1 for 2 years, I don't want to plug it in. But
the thing is, right?
Yeah.
The moment Evercade evolved into having internet and doing patches out of their original one, which was kind of more arduous, this is the world we're in now. Like they've committed to updating firmware, updating carts. Whereas before, when it was the original Evercade back in the day, there was the only way you update it was going through this, like, again, arduous process on a PC, but they didn't have to worry about it. It was like one and done. So sometimes you get a game didn't work right way. Well, So that's where we're at right now. So unfortunately, I don't think there's any perfect solution to how they approach this.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100% they're giving us what we want, but yeah, no, I do agree with what you
The
and Crow were
perfect
saying.
solution is don't put stuff on carts, have all the updates on system memory. And it just, you put everything is stored on the system as opposed to on individual carts. And that's probably the closest to avoid most of the major problems that would happen with carts and different versions and all that.
Yeah. No, I agree. And what y'all were saying too, that like if they do a newer update, it shouldn't depend on a previous update. Like it needs to contain that update,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always thought Evercade, when they updated their firmware, just wiped the system and put a brand new firmware. Didn't really care what was on it. Felt like that because every update was 300 and something megabytes, so it felt like they were just
this last update was almost 500 megs. So.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? I thought they were just wiping the system clean and starting over. I
don't think they are building upon
Yeah, I don't think
I think you're right. I think it's more like an ISO, like a full image.
Yeah, what I think they do is reset the image to default as a part of the update and just put a new version on there. I think that's the cleanest way they should do it, right?
Yeah, and if that is the way they are doing it, then you should have to update the previous updates.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I think yes, yeah, definitely. I think the reason yes, it is. I think the reason why saving the high scores have to be on the carts is because they're using the save state technology behind the scenes. So actually, I think I kind of suggested. I suggested you guys could have like a hidden save state to kind of do that. And so I think that's why it has to be on the cart, because save states are stored on the cart.
Well, I personally like the fact that the carts are being updated themselves. Like if the game is broken and you update the game, then you don't need to update every other Evercade device you ever put the cartridge in. It's already on the cartridge fixed.
It's got pros and cons, right? I guess.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I don't think any of us have a solution to it. It's like we have to bear with it as consumers.
Yeah, we're not the ones that have to come up with a solution for it. That's not our job.
Yeah.
But I do love the Super Pocket.
It's on my low list of priorities to really care about, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I do love the Super Pocket for testing though. That is like, that is like really handy with it. And in a way that almost makes me not want to update the firmware on it if they come out with one, just because it's
But you can use the original Evercade in the same way.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
So I can confirm that a patched cart works in every Evercade device and a Super Pocket.
What do you mean by patch? You mean the auto fire works too?
Yeah, auto fire and the persistence scores.
Ooh.
Because I just got a high score in Twin Cobra on the Super Pocket, closed out, restarted. It persisted and auto fire works.
Does your high score persist?
I'm about to. Yes, it does.
So it's saving a high score on the cart, I wonder, or on the system?
It's got to be on the cart because there's no other place to put it.
Yeah.
And the other system wouldn't have known you got the high score. So like right now, I've got a high score of 39,910, which is terrible, but it's what I got in 5 minutes.
Hey man, no one's judging you. Only the.
But I've got that. I've got that high score up and running on my VS right now. Because I just took it out of the Super Pocket, which it saved, it persisted, and then put it back in to the VS. So all that stuff persists.
See, and
that's awesome.
Well, yeah, and that's what you would expect from like a series of devices that uses the same cartridge. Oh, you're done playing on your handheld. You want to play on your TV. You save the state. You take the cartridge out. You put it in your new device. Everything is the same, and you just continue from there.
But the cool thing is, on the high score stuff, you don't have to save state. It just does it.
Yeah, I'm just saying save state because if you're in the middle of a game, you'll want to continue. I was just
right.
Oh, that would be a good thing to test. Like, what if you're in the middle of a game, you do a save state, you come back to it, game over, then you do the high scores. I would think that then the high score should still be there, and you shouldn't need to load the save state. Unless if you load the save state again, then what would happen to that high score? Yeah.
Well, I mean, the game would have to end in order for the score to persist. Like you'd have to not be in a state where you're about to continue or do whatever, because the score could change based on your save state. So that wouldn't persist until you recorded your initials on the scoreboard.
Oh, hey, welcome, channel member Fan and Fiction. Good to have you here, man. Oh, Lord Jerry
Yeah.
what if you put it in the OG handheld? Does it still keep your high scores? I was just going to ask you that too, Rich.
If you put it in the OG,
Yeah.
I'm imagining.
Yeah. You got to test that.
Sure.
Gotta test that.
Now I need to charge one.
So Taz, here's the thing. And this is with anything, right? If you're buying and this is with whether it's Blaze carts or like Nintendo carts, if you're buying off of like eBay or like Facebook, like trading, then there's always a risk in anything. If you're buying it like from like an actual like real store, like a retro gaming store, and there's something wrong with the car, at least you can bring it back and return it regardless. So that's what that's what you take your chances. But if you're getting from a reputable place, yeah, then you don't have to worry about it.
Let's see. This is probably more than dead.
It's really funny. I was just thinking about
maybe.
the time. At Goodwill, I found a copy of Final Fantasy for the NES. So I was like, I was looking for Final Fantasy for the NES. I brought it and put it home, put it inside, and instead it was actually Super Mario Brothers. Somebody replaced the chips on the inside.
Man, that's crazy nuts. But I will say though that like as opposed to Blaze not doing any of these updates, would I rather go through the little bit of the pain in the butt, like a minor inconvenience of putting in all the carts or putting them as I play them? Yes, I would much rather do that. So I think.
Yeah, you can't see it. Maybe you can.
But now get a high score though. I'm curious to get a high score.
My high score has persisted now over all three devices.
Yeah, now beat the game.
High score.
Get a high score. Beat the game.
All right.
Yeah.
Beat the game right now.
That'll be
the challenging mode.
That'll be the test to see if.
Rich, aren't you in Ed beta testers anyway?
Yeah.
Well, shouldn't you already know this? Shouldn't you guys already know this?
Yes.
Not very good beta testers. I don't think you're testing Blaze.
Well, there's some things that are there, and there are things we can only talk about that are like in the actual like release notes and whatnot.
Yeah, there are some things that are around, but I also admit that over the last couple months I've been really like super busy.
Yeah, you know what? I've actually haven't really I've actually been pretty swamped with all types of things. I haven't actually like been in Discord as much, so maybe that's been healthier for me. Really, like I don't even like Twitter. The funny thing is, I mainly like Twitter to talk to their content creators and see their posts. I mainly do like a lot like on my community tab. Like I love the integration for Twitter, and then integration for YouTube. Sorry, and then talking to my channel members. Like I've started doing like check-in videos and stuff. So yeah, I try to do that. Hey,
I like how nobody calls it X.
Hey, Game Freak. No. So actually, so while Game Freak is here, because he'd mentioned when I was live streaming that he kind of he took like his Evercade. He kind of did like make an arcade like out of it, and same with like a Nintendo. That was kind of neat. Like he had like some like leftover like wood, and it was pretty cool. And all that. So yeah, you can kind of make your own little arcade, or you can do what Crow does and just use like a control deck. But yeah, you can do neat stuff with the VS there. So yeah, I think we'll agree with the patch notes. Like it's a step in the right direction. That's what we were saying. We want Blaze to add like all these like cool features. That because it's for a paid product that you get with like a freemium device.
We should add Game Genie support.
Hey, does he?
That would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that although you'd have to find it, they would have to either add like like they could add it like with the cheat codes built in, or they'd have to. I don't know if they want to give you the way to load it. Forge Ember. I'm glad I have a super pocket. Don't want to deal with updates. Yeah, there's no updates yet. Yeah.
I think hopefully they take the high scores and make leaderboards out of it. That's what I think they need to do with it.
Yes, dude. That's all that I want. So here's what they can do. They can use and I keep going back to this because Sean said they could easily make it work, and that's using like QR codes, like how you go through, you play the game,
like
you use your
that's work.
You use your phone.
That's work. I just want it to be on the system. It's not rocket science. They can figure that out.
No, but it's super. It's like it's there's like a few. I was gonna say there's a few Steam games that I play like that where you just hold up your phone and then boom, it
Have you
goes to the
played-
link and you click on it.
Have you played that Slot Shots pinball game yet? Have you played that? Have you seen what they did with leaderboards? It's been like this for a while. And even I think that they have leaderboards, but in order to be on the leaderboard, you have to manually hit a button to upload your score and then another button to see the leaderboard. Even I think that's too much work.
Does that work, Rich?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I just got a high score. I'm hoping. Come on, focus more.
It doesn't want to focus.
It also doesn't want to change to show me the scoreboard.
Yeah,
Because you probably
Of
have a
course.
credit in there.
There we go.
No, you don't. You don't have a credit, huh?
No.
Please push one or please. No, it's you do have a credit. In
Oh
there.
yeah,
It's
I've got 6 credits.
That's why it's not showing because it's waiting for you to hit start.
Come on.
you might
It's not
have
gonna
to
change.
restart it.
Oh,
It's
you know
not
what?
gonna
Maybe I'll
change.
restart. Yeah,
Reset
I'll
the game.
restart. Quit.
But no,
I can't
well,
believe
I
this thing
agree.
has battery.
Well, I agree. It'd be nice to have like the leaderboards built in like Steam. If they had to do like QR codes just to start, like I would take. I'm just saying I would take that over. I would take that
No,
over.
I wouldn't.
The
Put their
only
money
game where
somewhere
I
else.
thought it was acceptable to use QR codes was Circus Convoy, and that's only because it was on the Atari 2600, and that was
Exactly.
amazing.
Well, the reason I bring that up, is because like for pinball, like Stern Pinball, that's what everybody. There's like an app that's all done like through your phone, and it keeps everything there.
Yeah, because
No.
then you could go to any pinball machine and scan your QR code,
Yeah,
and it'll keep
exactly.
track
Yes.
of your achievements. But this is not that.
I don't want to use my phone for anything but text messages. Like video games and phones should not go together.
What
Video
about
game
all
and
those
phone?
mobile games?
No,
All steaming.
I don't want to
files.
get sidetracked. We'll have to disagree on that.
So
There we go.
There
Okay.
are my 3 high scores. The
Yay.
4560, the 45610. That's current high score is the one that I just got on the handheld.
Sweet.
So now I'm
So-
going to take it. I'm going to quit out, and then go back on the.
Now all they have to
yes.
do is just add like retro achievements. That's I don't like. I think as Ryan said, they didn't want to use someone else's system, and like I get that, but I just kind of wish like, hey, talk to Retro Achievements, explain, would you allow this for a paid product? Put your ego aside and just have it built in. And then all they would have to do is use that front end. They could add more achievements because people like from the community like can submit achievements, right? So like if there's a game that's out there that's also on Evercade, like Double Dragon, like NES version of Double Dragon, those are already there. Like I wish
How does it even work though? Because like if people add in achievements after you've already played the game, do you just retroactively get those achievements, or do you have to play again to get those?
No. It's like it'd be like the same thing on Steam. Like you'd have to play through again, like on Steam, because it only knows to do it while it's live.
That's not necessarily true because there's a game I play on mobile and Steam, and it's the cloud saved. So if I play it on mobile and then I switch over to Steam, and it just like automatically retroactively gives me the achievements I got while I was playing it on the phone.
But yeah, you know what? So changing things over here because I like with Jason. You know what? I kind of wish. So I get why Blaze doesn't do that, because if they could get like if they said, hey, would you rather have a license from SNK, Sega, like Sega or Konami? Like, why not get all of them? But I know what you mean. I kind of wish that they would do a vote and say, hey, which license would you like us to pursue? Or we only have X amount of slots. But that could be kind of tricky.
Well, here's another thing: is that Retro Achievements only works with certain emulators, and it's possible that they don't work with the emulators that they're using, that Blaze is using. That's another thing.
Yeah. But I will say that I think that
Road, Lloyd.
I will say that I think that Silk Road, that the emulators that Blaze use are very. I think EmuDeck uses the same ones. I think they use like the same like standard, but some of them might be different for sure. But that they could do. I mean, everything is wireless, because like I want that to be built in and have leaderboards like that. That would be great. And then I think another thing, like have some game like have like speed running built in. I don't know. Try with like some popular game and see if speed running overlays takes over. Actually, I think Duke, you can do a speed running mode. I think I take it back. I think they did start to do that. because it's
Yeah,
native.
it should be a separate mode that's just got a timer that goes on in the corner of the screen.
Yeah. But it's not only that, but actually, but like they would have to put a. I'm curious if it's just that they'd have to put in a lot more work. But typically, like in speedruns, they'll have like a time like per like each level. So like it would be like like when you complete to kind of see where you're at and where
Ooh,
you're
secret
ahead.
zone. Sweet.
But yeah, at least having a timer would be cool. Played the heck out of, yeah. Voting for upcoming ideas, but I do at least like how Blaze is being active. I mean, this is especially something. Hey, Nultivision. This is something that we've been preaching to the choir for a while. Do these updates. So I'm happy that they're here. And I hope they continue. And at least one thing I will say too is that I'm glad that they put beta, right? That they're being
Right.
transparent. Like for like the Turbo Fire, that's beta. So then if it doesn't work as well.
Well, you could just do that with anything. You put it
Yeah,
out
they're just
as
protecting
beta just in case it
themselves.
doesn't work.
Well, but that's kind of a beta is supposed to be like, hey, it's not ready for prime. You could argue technically everything is a beta, but like the proper term of a beta is like, hey, we're still working the bugs out of it. When it's not beta, all the bugs are supposed to be worked out.
We're going to implement it, but we didn't feel like testing it. You test it for us.
You could look at it that way. I mean, there's reasons why things are in beta. Maybe there's still some other issues. What is interesting, like looking through the firmware, like Full Void, like it said they fixed some crash conditions. I know like some people like were reporting they had some issues with that, but I never experienced it. But I'm glad that
My only
glad
issue
that
with
that
that
fixes
game
in
is
there.
lacking the fun.
Wait, which one? Oh boy.
Oh boy, my only issue with
Wow.
that game, it lacks
Yes.
fun.
My only problem with this game is that it's not fun.
What, Silk Road?
No,
No,
Full Void.
Full Void he's talking about.
What,
Yeah.
dude? So
It's a time sink. It's like there's like I don't know. It's just I never like those games. It's just,
so like listen, there's like if somebody asks me like what is the best experience that you can have on Evercade for a few hours? I would
Worms.
no,
oh
dude,
god, I would not even put Full Void
No.
in it. They
No.
might return it after playing Full Void. It's such an obtuse game.
And listen, I'm telling for general to the general public, I'd recommend Full Void because
Dude, it's one of the most least popular genres ever created, and you'd recommend that to a new user to the Evercade?
But here's
oh my gosh, dude!
I'll pull a Pete here until you beat the game. You can't really.
I don't
give
want
up,
to beat the game, but you're saying you bring a new person to introduce them to Evercade with Full Void. I mean, come on.
Well, dude, okay, I'll because I'm not wearing my grumpy old man hat. Here's the reason why I would recommend that, because it's a chillback game. It's linear. You don't have. It's not a Metroidvania. It has a great story that sucks you in, and there are puzzles that are difficult, but they're not impossible. And it's just.
Dude, I'm not arguing with any of that. But what I'm trying to say is, if I'm introducing someone to the Evercade who wants to play retro video games, I am not giving him a game that came out last year that's based on a retro genre that wasn't mainstream popular back in its day. I'm saying grab Namco, grab an arcade.
Every cartridge.
So that's where we disagree. That's maybe where we disagree, because the Evercade isn't just about retro games. It's about indies. It's also about modern indies.
You asked 10 people in the gaming world what the Evercade is. They'll tell you it's a retro video game emulation box. Or
no, but you're reading. No, you're reading too much. What I just said is the best. If somebody asked me like, what's the best new experience, I would recommend. That's what I'd recommend Full Void. For those reasons,
This is absolutely fascinating.
It's like, again, if you're one of those people where you don't care about like a storyline, you're not into solving puzzles or intrigue, then no. But it's a great and believe me, I was one of those people that I was like, why am I buying this game? Right? I didn't get the special edition, but I played through it, and it was just the story just hit. It really hit home. Like I could relate to it. So that's all. Now, if you're like, I want to get into play some like retro games, yes, that's kind of, then maybe recommend the Namco. But there's a difference between an experience. Like I would have maybe said Cathedral could have fallen in there, but
oh my god, I would put Cathedral. I put tons of different games ahead of that. Like that's not even in my top 200 games I would recommend for an experience on the Evercade. Not even close.
What would you rank? Let's put it this
So-
way: what would you rank below Full Void?
I would put Worms ahead of Full Void 100%.
Oh, I don't doubt that you would.
So here's it's like iHeart gets. So when I mean experience, so when I'm talking about experience, it's not necessarily like, hey, this game is better. It's kind of like the feeling that you walk away with when you're done, the accomplishment, how involved. It's difficult to put into words. That's kind of like you have to experience. It's the overall. It's kind of like if you had sat down and hooked up, let's say, like a virtual reality headset and played it for 20 minutes and really
you're trying to.
it. That's
arguing
kind of
to
like that
somebody-
type of thing.
You're arguing to somebody that's already played it. You can't say you got to sit down and play it to somebody who's already sat down and played it.
Yeah.
So that's
Exactly.
so that it's one of those things. I never would have spent the money to get it on Steam. It really surprised me. Now something like Astro Bros and the Dukes, like yes, if you want like an action game that has everything there, that has both the retro and indie, that's excellent.
Still
That was
an
also a great
amazing experience.
It's kind of like
can't
though it's kind of the
define
same
experience.
experience you would have like and playing any great like story driven game. It's Worms is horrible. But something like Worms though, like for me, like you have to like there's a lot of work learning that game, right? You have to sit down, you have to learn it. There's like,
Wait a minute, what game? You talking about Worms?
yes.
I don't
A
think
lot
so.
of work to learn to play Worms.
Dude, there's like so
It's
many
just a-
menus. Yes, it's
just
Yeah, the
one
menus are a
menu.
bit obtuse. I'll give you that.
it's not pick up and play. It is
I mean, the
not at all
menus,
pick
but
up
they
and play.
fixed that in later.
Oh,
games.
you're talking about the main menus. I can see where the main menu because that's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
PC.
100%.
That's a
Like-
PC port.
Yeah.
That's where it kind of falters. But
Yeah,
once you
Yeah,
get
you'd
into the
want to
game,
play the
that is
PlayStation versions where they fixed a lot of that stuff.
yeah. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't be bothered if I have like I've got too much going on, like work, family. That if I've got 4 hours to spend, I can play 10 games in that 4 hours as opposed to a genre I don't like.
yeah,
Or you
yeah.
could play.
No,
or you
I
could be
get
like
it. It's
me and
different.
play
It's-
like a fraction of Legend of Wukong.
Listen, it's different. It's different. Yeah, no, it's different. It's different gaming styles for in different ways to play. For me, like when I forget who said it. Like, yeah, I'm a buffet gamer until when I like the main course. Like if I find a game that I like, then I latch onto that, and then I see like I will play that until I complete it.
Who would
until
ever call you
everything.
a fake gamer? If you play one video game in your life, you're not. Those people just need to go outside and bang their head on a rock or something.
No, that's not like in life. Like
are the,
so,
are
like,
the people
no,
on
so, like,
TV that
like,
are just
so-
like doing
Look at
this.
this! I rescued my princess.
yeah. So for me, I know there's a lot of people that fall into the trap like Steam. So like they'll buy a bunch of games and they'll only play 10 or 20 minutes and never go back to it. Like for me, like that.
They
I
still
don't- I
played
don't-
it. Even if they
Yeah, but,
played
like,
it
for me,
10
like,
I
I
don't
don't-
judge
still played it.
anybody what they do with their own money. Like that's their own decisions.
No, but I guess like for me, like video games, it's about experience. It's all about like the experience. Like, did I go away happy playing that game, or was the game frustrating? Like at the end of the day, that's all that matters. That matters to me. Like let me put it this way: like if I had the choice of like a course of the year, I could play like 50 different games, but only play them for 10 minutes each, or I could play like one like game that like immersed me into it. I would choose that one game. Because the problem that I have, and I have this with emulation, is I would get so overwhelmed and play all these games and only get like bits and pieces, and nothing ever held my interest to fully experience it. And for me, that's like for gaming, that's what's important. To find a game like the Dukes held that, the Astro Bros, teach their own. But for me, like I like to feel like I got into a game and I got like some enjoyment. And I got to accomplish something. And so that's. Huh. Pete is vicious today. He just has his old man.
I'm not vicious. I'm just like, what the hell? Like that doesn't even make sense. I'm just saying. I'm like, I think it's, like, whatever. Grow up. Like,
An SN arcade, dude. Yeah, an SNK arcade cart would be awesome, but yeah, I wouldn't hold my breath.
I mean, you never know, man.
see, I don't have my high score here.
Did you patch? Oh wait, it only works on certain games though.
Yeah,
Of course. I guess that's what's in beta.
Yeah, the part
Yeah.
of those.
There's a
most of
list. There's a list
most
of games.
those-
There's a list
Yeah.
of games that it works on. It's in
yeah,
there.
that's right.
Most of that patch
Yeah.
notes was
So there's no
games
proof
that
that
were
I beat the
actually
game.
updated. Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
but
There's
yeah,
a-
you
there's a
don't
list.
automatically get auto fire and high scores with every game. It's only certain games.
Correct. Correct.
That's true. Yeah, that's why it's still in beta. Probably for that. Yeah, probably for that reason.
Well, no, I don't think they're ever going to give high scores and auto fire to every game, even though all the NES
Yeah,
games
it
already
makes no
have
sense,
auto
right?
fire.
Commander Keen. Yeah, that would make Rich's day. They did Commander Keen.
Oh, dude, yes. Well, and with with Apogee like running around doing stuff, like they're still around. Come on, go talk to them. Go get this stuff. Let's go.
I am waiting for them to address at one point is the whole Asteroids Deluxe thing. It's like it's still Asteroids with an Asteroids
No,
Deluxe.
they'll never admit that one.
You know what I realized I had done and I forgot I'd done it is I put it in and I forgot since it was just Asteroids. I actually went into the cartridge and I removed the background so it's at least just Asteroids.
Mr. Tinkerer.
That's awesome.
But they're still selling that. Wait, is that one of the cartridges being discontinued? Atari Arcade one?
Yes, all the Ataris.
All the
Ataris and
all
Lynx.
5.
So it's just so weird to me that cartridge was out for like 2 years or something like that, and it was never really addressed or fixed. That the wrong game was on the cartridge.
I think that winds up coming back though. You know what I mean? I think we wind up seeing Atari like back in action.
And the funny thing is, like, according to Blaze, it's not really their fault the wrong game is on the cartridge. It's because Atari gave them the wrong ROM to use.
It's possible.
That's what happened.
This is not the right game, though, right?
Yeah, but nobody checked it to see it was the right game. They just took the game and was like, okay, this is Asteroids Deluxe, and it's not.
So I gotta say, now with the Turbo Fire, I'm enjoying this game a lot more.
It's nice, isn't it?
Isn't that kind of easy though?
Yeah, but you know what? Sometimes, at least for me, sometimes you got to put the training wheels on a little bit. And
Wait, let me ask a question. How easy is it to switch the Turbo Fire on and off in those games?
It's as simple as using the different button.
Okay, so it's assigned to a different
fire
button.
is B.
Yeah. You don't have to use it.
Fire is B, and Turbo Fire is Y.
Okay, because there is one game, I can't remember which game it is, where it's like there's a toggle button, so you hit the button, and either the button's like auto fire, and hit it again, it's not auto fire.
Yeah.
The reason I ask is because some of those games have weapons where you can't use the auto fire.
Yeah. No, you just use the other button.
But yeah, it helps a lot. It saves your freaking fingers, man. That's
So I mean that is actually better than using my arcade stick because it's not a simple switch on mine. Actually, I have to hit a button combination in order to turn it on and off. So yeah, it's better than what I was using, but still, I wouldn't be able to play those games as much as I did if I didn't have the stick with the Turbo Fire on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they just made those games way more playable.
Yeah,
it
saves your fingers, man. I remember being like a younger kid or teenager,
Especially if you're playing on the handheld, because there's no way. I think I tried it. I was like, I tried it for like 5 minutes. I was like, no way, I'm not playing this on a handheld. Now I can.
Yeah, well, and yeah, like I said, I'm now like enjoying more my experience because if I had to sit here for the last 10 minutes and do what I was doing, which is just jam A over and over and over and over again, I don't want to play this anymore. You know what I mean? So like I'm actually having a pretty great time.
I wonder if I can't remember if when I ranked the games, if I took into consideration the fact they had auto fire or not. So if I don't know, I might have to revisit those just to say, okay, now we have auto fire. Do I bump this up a grade or not?
Yeah.
We have to do all that testing. Cool. No, all awesome stuff. Great discussions. All
Yeah. Well,
and that's what's great. We all did like different views on gaming and everything. So no, this was awesome. I hate to have to kind of cut things short, but you guys want to promote what's on your channels for next week?
Well, you can leave. We can stay here. Well, we have to go.
Yeah, no, well, as far as stuff's going, I'm still on catch-up mode over on the channel with all the trips and stuff.
Permanently on catch-up mode.
Yeah, right. But yeah, so there should be more stuff coming very, very, very soon. Like for people that have seen Karg or like random posts on the internet or whatever, I was able to get some of those serious upgrades over on Studio B. So like we're pretty much ready to rock. So lots more content coming and lots newer content coming. Like not just the same types of shows that you've been seeing on the channel. There'll be stuff that'll be pretty new coming soon. So I'm excited about that.
Sweet.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
looking forward to it. What do you
And
got
I've
going on, Pete?
got.
Or Red,
Okay, go.
or Crow, whoever.
Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah.
Go. No, it's Pete's turn now.
Yeah.
Oh no, same as usual over on the channel. Doing my thing, having some fun. And Radio, you're absolutely right. The button placement in this game is horrible.
But you can rearrange the buttons.
I don't have
That's
time
an
for that.
option.
I don't
No,
have
that's a
time for
simple thing to do. I'm really.
Okay,
That's
all right,
like
let's try
that-
it. All right,
That's
let's
actually
see.
one of the things that's one of the updates I actually took for granted at first, but I use it all the time now. Is
I
rearranging
can't because
buttons.
I'm in the game and I can't save state. It's one of
Oh
those
wait,
things.
and that
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, that
oh
was
okay,
nice.
you're playing.
The inconsistency
You
with
can't.
how they put games on this system.
This
like
is
you
a-
know,
This is a
This is-
native
yeah.
game then.
It is.
Exactly.
You can't-
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay, yeah, you don't get that with the native games. That's right. Okay, I assumed you were still playing Silk Road. I wasn't even looking at what you were playing.
yeah, no, it's that's the troubling thing, right?
But,
There's so many different rules they have for games on the system. They don't like not all of them have
Well,
save states.
it's
I don't
simple.
know.
It's either native or it's not native. Those are
Yeah.
the two.
Can you do it if you
Groups.
quit out of it, or will it not let you because it's native?
I don't think you can.
I don't even think it'll give you that option, to be honest, the main menu.
That's a
Again, I
shame.
could be wrong. I've only really messed with it with emulated games.
reset game stats. No.
Yeah, that's a problem. Yeah.
Yes,
dot,
yes,
dot.
it is.
It's not one of the ... dots.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
it also could be because
It's not
it
a
is
great
game
game
of the
anyway,
month.
but still, I'd like to be able to change my buttons around.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
Bubble Seahorse. That's all right.
It's mediocre.
Yeah, I had a
Like
good,
mapping
I had a
that
good time with that.
on everything
So
easily. Yeah.
I've actually gotten through all the Sydney Hunter games. I haven't played the Jester game yet, but I'm kind of
Best game on there.
The Jester's
great.
the best game on there. You know, it wouldn't be too hard for me to believe that. I think all this. I was kind of hyped for a little bit of hype for the Sydney Hunter collection, and then a game where I was kind of let down by them a little bit. I think.
Yeah, they're not
but-
super special.
Yeah. I
The
don't know. I
Master
just thought
System
it would
is my
be-
favorite one on there. The Master System version.
I don't know. I kind of like the Super Nintendo one just because you have a way to attack in that one.
Yeah,
But
No, I'm in agreement with Pete on that. When I played the master, you just had to get used to the jumping, but it was the most fun. You could like go anywhere. Yeah,
is it just me? But the
Dude,
Intellivision one, it reminded me of the Smurfs game a lot. Like
That-
a
it-
lot.
it's like a reset.
oh yeah,
game.
it's completely. Yeah. It's based on that. If you talk to the guy Game Trading One, like
Oh, is it? Okay.
yeah, they use
that
a
would
lot
explain
of
that.
inspiration from that game.
Okay, well that explains that. But
Yeah.
other than that, I'm working on my slot shots pinball ultimate edition video. So I've got everything I need for that. I'm just working on editing the video. But I've also got to prepare for my I'm doing like a chatting type live stream tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. So that's just gonna be just a whole lot of let's chat kind of thing.
Keep your voice together because we got games and stuff at. So,
Oh, well, that's not for like many more hours after that.
Yeah, Crow, get your stuff together.
And besides, last year I was doing live streams in the afternoon and then doing your show after that. So it's not the first time I've done that. So.
oh yeah, one thing too. I just put a Tekken video up. So if you're interested in Tekken,
Yes,
8, I'm
Tekken
playing,
8
I'm playing
on the
Arcade
stream
Quest.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, that game. Like I'm not even playing the main game. Like I'm playing Arcade Quest now, which is like kind of feels like Street Fighter 6 story, like but World
Yeah.
Tour, but it's not. But it's pretty cool. Anyway,
The game looks and
Nice.
plays.
I'll have to check
I only
that out.
played the demo, and I'm hesitant to pay $70 for a game.
yeah, wait
Exactly.
for a performance update.
I'm not
Exactly
going to
what I was
play
gonna
right
say.
away. So when
way too
I'm all
expensive.
ready to play it, maybe if
Yeah.
I finish Maybe if I finish the Street Fighter 6 story, maybe then I'll get into.
Yeah, well, I'm
'Cause
almost done with Street Fighter 6, so I should be done that this weekend.
I have more. I bought
Nice.
Mortal Kombat 1 too during the Steam sales.
Oh,
and I still haven't really played that.
that story is amazing. But I would recommend going back and playing
Well-
9 through 11 first
9 through 11.
on
What?
Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
Oh, I've played all. I've played 11. I have all of
So
them.
many
I
Mortal
played
Kombat.
9. I didn't play. I played a little bit of 11, but then I bought 1.
Yeah, I would play those first just to understand the story because I
could just watch a video to explain the story to me.
Yeah, you could do that cheaper.
There you go.
Yeah.
I just want to say real quick, on my channel next week, I'm going to dive into Duke 2. It's the last of the new cards from last year that I haven't done first impressions. I did want to wait until I got the replacement cart, but maybe I don't need to. So with the there was a patch for it. Actually, kind of Rich gave me the idea. I did go ahead and patch it. Because the third game on there wasn't playable, so we'll find out if it's playable or not. So anyways, I need to wrap things up. Did you guys still want to talk? And Rich, do you want to close it out, or do you guys want me to go ahead and end it?
I mean, I'm cool with
No,
either
we're
way.
pretty much good. I think.
Yeah, we're good. I think we're good.
Yeah,
for
we're
this.
good.
Yeah,
Let's get out of here.
Okay, I'll
That way
go
we
ahead
can
and
go
I'll
have
roll
lunch.
that. And thanks everyone so much for joining.
See-